In all honesty, it took me quite a while to figure out which picture I wanted to start drawing, but I finally found it, and now it's time for me to pick out my colors. Right now, I'm just picking out the colors for the oranges that are in the metal vase, and then I will pick the rest of my colors. At the moment, I'm going to start sketching, and I will speed through this part because I feel like I've recorded enough of me sketching, so this clip will be kind of short, but I am going to block out all of my shapes and kind of lay everything on the page. So right now I'm just using squares and rectangles to figure out where the blue vase is going to go, and then where the metal vase is going to go, and then the little orange that sits on the top of the table. And then I'm also going to make the line of the table. The reason that I'm blocking everything in is because I feel like it makes the drawing process easier, especially since I'm not super familiar with drawing vases or flowers or oranges. So I know oranges are round, so it's not going to be too difficult, but everything else I wanted to block in my shape so that I can make the process a little bit easier and faster. And I feel like I accomplished that when I was sketching this out. I actually really enjoyed drawing this piece because it was something so different from what I normally draw, and I was able to get out of my comfort zone, which is what I was going for this piece. So I'm really happy with it. Alright, so now it's time to finally add some color. I erased a little bit of the graphite so that it didn't show up as much while I was coloring it in with a marker. Towards the end, you will be able to see that you can still see the pencil, but I don't mind it. Adds a little bit of character to this piece. And right now, I am using Ohuhu markers. You saw that I grabbed the colors that I was going to need. So I am just coloring in these flowers. They are yellow and green, so those are the main colors that I picked for this particular part of the piece. And I'm just gonna continue to color in all of the leaves. I started with the lightest color first, and then I am going to build up my colors by adding in some darker shades of yellow and orange to try to give the flowers a little bit more dimension. To make the vase a little bit more blended, I went over the vase with a shade that's a little bit darker than the base layer, and I'm gonna just color in the whole right side with this base layer just to make the vase a little bit more blended than what it was before. After that, I'm going to grab the base tone and just blend in the two colors so that it's a little bit more seamless. After I've blended in those two colors, I am going in with the third darkest blue shade, and I'm just going to color in the right side so that it's a little bit darker, and then I'll go back to that second blue that I had and blend in the two colors so that it is a little bit more seamless. I've learned while using markers it's best to blend markers while they are still a little bit wet, so then you don't have to work at blending them as much and it doesn't make your paper kind of thin out a little bit because you're adding a lot of ink to the same area. Now I'm starting on the oranges, and as you can see, I'm checking my marker because this orange is looking a little bit darker than I was expecting it to look, especially because this is the lightest version of the like orangish yellow that I picked out. And so I just kept going because it was the lightest shade that I had for the yellowish orange color that I was going for. So I just layered this orange twice, and now I am going to color in the other oranges that are inside of the metal vase. working on this face was the very last thing that I wanted to do in this piece, mainly because I thought it was going to be really difficult, and that's why you can see I kind of like saved it for last. But in all reality, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. What helped the most is me just blocking out the colors and shapes that I saw and not really worrying about the whole vase, just figuring out where to start on that piece and then move on to the next. Instead of focusing on everything that the vase had in it, I just focus on little bits and pieces, and I picked which items I wanted to include in the reflection, and I feel like what I picked was good because the vase still looks like a vase that's reflecting something. And I'm really proud of it. So I'll probably end up doing more of these types of pictures and pieces just because I had a lot of fun and I learned a lot, which is why I enjoy art so much. Just the creative process and figuring out things that you enjoy doing and what you don't enjoy doing, and just exploring in general. It's really fun.